So we're back. We've had a little break here. It's been a busy few weeks for me, and I think it has been for you guys as well. So welcome back to a fresh new episode. We've got Neil Prince here, Nev Bradshaw. Just Nev, tell us what you've been up to in the break since the last time we was in this room.
Pretty much just been flat out with the AMCA racing. Actually, I've done I think 13 or 14 weekends in a row racing now.
Retired guy over there.
I was struggling so bad at the start of the year, and I've managed to turn it around now. I actually feel like I can ride a motorbike again, and I'm enjoying it again. So, managed to take the lead of that championship at Fat Cats at the last round, and dude, it's an awesome championship. There's 5 of us with still like we're halfway through the championship now, and there's still 5 of us with a decent shot at it. So, yeah, been busy with that, and then the schools, busy with the schools, and then just being a dad, dude. That takes up most of my time, to be honest. Out. Yeah, dad life is pretty hectic, and just
Daddy daycare on Fridays, isn't it?
Fridays is my day. So a little bit easier the second time around with Tate, like I did. I struggled a lot with Tate because obviously I was racing full time, and I kind of thought I always had to be doing something on a Friday when you just sit at home, you can't do nothing. And then Braxton's a little bit more chill where the racing is not as serious now. So other than that, just been watching the racing, working on bikes, doing a lot of that.
Always looking for the next project.
Yeah, always, dude. Always good. We've got some cool stuff in the pipeline with that I'm going to get busy on in the next, through the summertime. So
yeah, whatever arrives, it's summertime with us.
Yeah, it's
crazy. I was just thinking, this time last year, like when the World Cup was on, it was the heat wave, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Dude, it was ridiculously hard. Like I said to Neil, like this is the best summer since I was here. I've been here 15 years now, and last summer was the best.
Like Africa summer last year.
Pretty much, like we didn't even think about the rain. Like it wasn't, like normally here, you're like, I wonder if it's gonna. Dude, we had like 8 weeks of like gold, but I don't think it's like.
I don't think that's coming this year.
No, we've got the water world coming on.
It's not ideal. But.
So Neil, what have you been up to? Busy with Joel?
Pretty busy. Like done a Raider night meeting, PAR Homes. Went there for Paul Rowlands. Raced there. Sean Kane.
A good event, wasn't it?
Very good, very good. It was just shame with the weather, like everywhere at the minute. The rain's coming, and it's not actually the weekends you want it. But obviously, that was Wednesday night. Rain come, and then doing GPs. We've done like 2 or 3 more Europeans. Went to Portugal, helped Sean Ryan, his mechanic, put his back out. So I've had to step in there,
step up,
looked after Sean for the day. That was interesting. Back in the MX1 class, that's like stacked. There's lots of fast guys in there, and to be fair to them, in France the other week I watched quite a bit of MX1 racing, and them guys are like, Febra's back, Hurlings is back now. Them guys, their level of speed is like something else. It's interesting to watch that and try and help Sean to get the results he deserves. But that class, there's 20 like really good guys in that class. And then with Joel, it's been going okay. Like Europe, it's difficult because you need a good start. If you get a good start, you can go with the front guys. We've been a bit unlucky with starts and a little bit unlucky with the way it's kind of panned out. Qualifying's been going okay. So we're getting ready for Germany now. So it's just been busy. My little one's been riding. Bit of schoolboy racing, schoolboy dad running around. Looking after him, but everywhere's cancelled this weekend. We're supposed to be out. But Evo racing last weekend, that was interesting.
So all the plates are spinning, so to speak.
Kind of, yeah. Like Neville says, with the family, you're always busy, and then me and my wife try and do stuff around the house, and it's like the days go past really quickly, and then you look forward to something coming up, like my Evo race. I look forward to that coming up. It's gone already.
Yeah. Do you have another one coming up? Or you have another one booked, or?
I'll maybe try and do King of the Castle Farlex. I really enjoy riding at the minute. To be honest, I enjoyed the weekend on the old Suzuki, and as much as I can. But it's like Neville says, you're trying to spin all these plates and do all this type of stuff, and you've still got your job looking after Joel, trying to help the team as much as I can. So. Yeah, you look forward to something, and that's gone quickly. Then you're back into work again. So, I think at the minute the months are flying by, like all of us.
I can't believe it's June already. To be fair,
yeah, the year's pretty much gone.
Halfway through the year.
It's quite scary to think,
and June's nearly gone as well. We're halfway through already. Yeah.
Like I honestly don't have like the little ones to look after, but I've been all over the shop the last few weeks. I was in France.
Yeah, you were.
Doing a project in the EMX class, so I had a good watch of that. obviously Joel in qualifying right up there.
Yeah.
We actually got a shot of Joel in the first corner of the first race, and he was pretty much dead last.
So 2 from the back, I think.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, Joel, what's going on? And then just like you say, if you're there, it's so hard to come through.
Like
the
in
level,
that class, like you're not good. Like it's hard to come through. Like those kids are so, especially on the hard packed tracks. You know, the kids can hang it out. This, you know,
like that track was pretty fast, and there didn't seem to be much.
Yeah, like if you make it back to like between 10 and 15, you've had a good race. You know, even the guys that are winning motos will come from, you know, like Joel's like shown he's got the speed in qualifying.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just makes it too hard to work, and there's too many good guys to come through, I think.
But I think also with Joel in France, that first race, he kind of went early for the start because, you know, he's keen to make a start.
But the gates were bad in France, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. I've got a shot. You probably don't want to see it, but it's a shot, and you can see they're a bit staggered.
Yeah, like for sure, like Caroli's like golden on gates, and I don't know if it's Simpson or someone that did got good starts, and they actually went back a little bit further than normal to compensate for the gate not dropping at 100%.
But I think the problem is like in France, what happened there is the week before, my memory isn't great, but Joel actually hit the gate in the race.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's a big job to come back from that. And then in France, he's like really eager to make a start, and then the gate kind of double. You know, in France, I'm kind of quite shocked that no one actually put a complaint in, because to me, like the gates for sure were bad. You know, it should never happen in that type of sport. You know, if you go to your local event and
if you go to an AMCA or a local club,
and with Caroli, that's a serious deal. You know,
I saw Sutty from DBR put out a piece, and it was like, what if that stops him getting his 10th championship?
Exactly.
And it could happen because he's now lost the points lead.
He's got too much fire for that.
Yeah, I know, but
I know what you're saying.
It could come down to a couple.
But
of points
it goes both ways as well. You know, like you know, like that could have like that sort of stuff.
But that should never happen in World Championship.
Never ever happen.
When they look at the camera work, they look at that. You know, you would like to think, you know, if that was say Formula One, and you had 5 green lights, or they had a similar system, each one had a light and one was delayed.
Yeah.
There'd be something in France. It wasn't just Caroli. There was a whole heap of guys that had a problem.
Yeah.
And to me, if you know, to me they'd have, that should be spoke about. Like that should actually be taken. That's not right. You know, and it's never spoke about, or no one actually said anything behind the scenes. But I'm sure if there was a dirty move, or someone had some problem with their bike, and you know, or they come into the pits and they didn't, you know, stop the engine to change a goal. Someone would complain, get the points taken away. But that start clearly, it's not just 1 or 2 photographs. There's people with helmet cams, everything showing the gate the way it drops. Then you can say, you shouldn't have went with the gate drop. But on some gates, the gate is completely down and the guy's half up.
Yeah, no.
So that's not correct.
I don't know if it's the same weekend, but at the second round of the Nationals, did you see that in the 250 class? There was a big thing about the gates as well.
No, I didn't see
I think it was Chase Sexton who was like, they wanted to put a complaint in because they reckon the gate didn't drop. And in Cincerello's GoPro, you could see it.
Yeah.
That happened, but again, there nothing happened.
Yeah.
I don't think they do anything about it. But it's just weird in the same kind of weekend that the two kind of highest levels of motocross that happened.
We had it at the MCA as well, and like you just, you know, as much as it happens, it's also a little bit on yourself about like taking the time to go watch a start, like watch a start. You know, like there's always like at the MCA there's 4 or 5 gates that are a little bit slow, and it's about going. Okay, that's where it's about. I'm not going to go there.
Tactics.
You know? It's about
But you're talking slow gates. You're not talking the gate's completely down and the next guy's gate's
no,
up.
it's like that.
That's what it's like.
No, like that. That's what I'm saying. There is like
is that?
There is some down and then some.
Is there?
Pretty much.
I used to remember when we used to ride at Chatteris when we was kids. We used to race there. I don't know, like 15 times a year.
Yeah.
And I used to have my gate because like you could look at it and it was lower to start with. And then you're like, that's my gate there. I've got to get the good peg here. And like then you become the boy in the 85 class. No one's going to take my gate, are they?
No, it's yours.
It's funny. Like we said, talking about Joel, he's obviously got the speed because at Blacksall in that first race, it's like you couldn't go any better than that. 20 seconds ahead of the closest guy, and he's on a 254 stroke. So he's obviously got the speed.
Yep.
Did you see we put GoPro out last night?
Yeah, I did.
Race?
Yeah.
Going down really well. People are loving it. People just seeing a 2-stroke.
It is cool.
Kind of like boss it against 4-strokes. People are absolutely digging it.
People enjoy
and
it, man.
you obviously know from what we've done in the past, the kind of 2-strokes online, people are loving it.
Yeah.
And then you look at the 2-stroke class in Russia.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
I couldn't believe that, dude. I was watching it. I said to my chick, like, I just, because I saw Ando did well, so I wanted to go back and look at it. And there was like 15 people on the gate. And I said
11.
to Sam,
11.
I said, I've been at an AMCA race at Fat Cats. Every single class, even like the kids had a full gate. How can you get to that level of racing and have like, was there, 11 people?
Well, the problem is there. Sorry, the problem is there is like when you go to Portugal and places like that, you get quite a good turnout of riders because they can go there. But when you go to Russia, you've got to have a flight case.
Yeah.
So when you go to Russia, you've got to get you've got to get carnets done. You've got to get your crate sorted.
Yeah.
You've got to get it to a certain place to get your crate picked up. Then you've got to get your visas to go there unless you're Russian. So there's a lot of money spent to go to them events. So that's why you get like the 10 good players go.
Yeah.
And then the rest just can't afford it.
It's scary, man.
Yeah, it's weird because it's the EMX series and they're going to Russia, and technically it is in Europe. I mean, like that bit of Russia is, but it's not really, is it? Like for what should be a fairly local championship in Central Europe, I think it's not really fair for like the guys from 20th or 10th back to try and get out there.
It blows my mind. I was speaking to Bob Buchanan that ran that GL12 team for a while, and he kind of went into the expenses of getting to a race like that. And man, I look at it to go do 2 30-minute motos.
Yeah,
it's mind blowing, man. You must love the sport to be putting that sort of money out.
You're talking probably the best part of 10 grand.
Yeah.
I would say by you take your flights, you take your flight case.
I think you were saying 7 grand to send like just to get there and the expenses of it. One race, dude.
Yeah.
That is mental. Like you could do like a season. Obviously not at that level, but like, you know, like I'll probably spend maybe like 3-4 grand out of my money to go do this AMC racing.
Yeah.
You know, that's a whole season of racing.
Yeah.
And it's good racing,
10 months,
like
8 months of racing.
That's one race. It's quite scary, man. Fair play to the guys. It must be like, you know, you must be into the sport heavily to invest that sort of money into it, you know.
But also, if you're doing that championship and that's the one round, it kind of forces you a bit there if you've got a good championship.
You've got to go.
You know, you've got Brad there.
But there's a couple of flyways for the 252 strokes, isn't there? Or like a lot of far rounds.
I'm not sure. I think they might be going to Turkey as well. And I'm pretty sure Turkey's a flight case as well. You can drive there, but it's cheaper to take a flight case there. You know, the time you get your ferry to Greece, then you drive all the way around there.
Yeah.
Or you drive directly there. It's like it's a lot of money.
Is Todd Keller doing the British Championship now?
He wasn't at Blackstone.
He's just concentrating on beach races and the
he was at Fat
Championship.
Cats and
he wasn't at Blackstone, was he? I didn't see him there. I was filming the MX2 and I hadn't seen him there.
No, he wasn't, but he's definitely been. I'm sure he was at Canada Heights on he rides 252 stroke.
In MX, because you can't do MX2 in British Championships.
No, but he was in MX1 and then Fat Cats he was at MX1 on a 4-stroke, but he had an electrical problem. I think.
Yeah, he was riding quite good at Fat Cats. I remember that. Yeah, but he's obviously, like you say, focusing on that and his beach racing because. Kind of speciality at that, isn't it?
Yeah, no, fair play, the boy can do it pretty good. Might as well focus on what you're good at. You know, like if he can make enough money through the winter time at those races to kind of subsidise his racing through the summer, why not?
Yeah, I just thought it was so weird because we know how popular the 2-strokes is, and then you see that, and I was hearing like they had to go and try and get some local Russians doing it in the class because apparently there's less than 10 riders, they can't run it as a championship.
But I think you say that the 2-stroke is popular. I think that the 2-stroke is popular with the general rider. Like the general person, like if you look at a lot of people's vlogs and stuff on YouTube and stuff, it's just the general dude going and having a crack with his buddies. Like it's actually quite cool to watch. Like if you watch those guys' vlogs, they're just like average riders. It's cool, you know. Like for them, motocross is the coolest thing in the world, dude. They go pick their buddies up, they hit the track out, they see some fast dudes, they get better themselves, enjoy their riding, and that's it. They go home, you know. Like
I kind of experienced a different side of like dirt bikes. A couple of weeks ago, for a DBR piece, we went to Bulgaria to do some like off-road enduro riding. It was kind of like this, do you know, these holiday companies that you can go out to California or Spain to ride motocross. Yeah. This company, they do it for enduro.
Okay.
And you wouldn't realise, but Bulgaria is sick for riding off-road because like they're just loose.
Loads
like
of space,
they're just loose. You like
point ride anywhere.
There's your bike. Go.
Yeah,
Go absolutely anyway. Ride through the little villages, tiny little villages, like horse and carts, little old ladies just like waving at you. It's like Top Gear. The kids come out their gardens, they chase you down the street, they're like waving at you. And then you just take like a left turn up this little dirt track into the wilderness, and you don't see anyone for like 5 hours. It's sick.
Cool,
and like all the guys I was with there was like all on two strokes, loving it. They're just there. It was just a different kind of side of dirt bike. Like you know when you said when you was wrapped in your little Maxis bubble, and then you go to the AMCA, and you see this other side of motocross. This made me think, there's this whole other side to dirt bikes, and I think it's absolutely cool, massive. Dude. Like just especially out in those parts of the world where you can just get a bike and go anywhere. It's way bigger than motocross.
Like we used to do it a lot, and it's one thing I honestly miss. Like if I could go, say this weekend everything's cancelled, do one thing that you want in the world, it would be go back to South Africa and go to an outride. We used to go every Sunday, so we'd race on a Saturday. On a Sunday, we'd go ride for like 4 or 5 hours, like in the hills, like from our house. We'd go ride, we'd get to the dam, and we'd be like in the dunes, and you could just ride for like, just like take some oil with you, and the jumps we used to find, and the bike control and stuff that you learn. And you'd be out on a ride, you'd probably see 100 people on a Sunday. Like, you know, like how people go like on a Sunday ride on their road bikes and stuff. In South Africa, like there's 4-wheelers. It's like it's insane, dude.
That's what, especially in this part of the world,
this country
you don't
that.
have it. I think all the guys that I was in Bulgaria with, they're kind of like North Wales, so they do a bit of child riding, and there's places they can go. But they're always getting bollocked by the police. The ramblers are always chasing them, like hitting them on the head with sticks and stuff. They're like they were saying to me like, every 2 miles we've got to go and open a gate and then shut it behind us. Like in Bulgaria, we rode for 8 hours straight and didn't have to stop.
We have been shot at, to be fair, in South Africa. Like literally shot at, dude. We had this corner track, me and this guy that used to be like...
What, by like farmers or...?
No, police.
Police, Jesus Christ.
Police, like...
Trying to get you off the bikes.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing, dude. Like literally, we used to jump over like a railway bridge. We used to do like a 20-minute moto and then hit the trails like in a weekday, like after work or whatever, after school. And came up this, and there was just dude just had guns, and we're like... He disappeared one way into the dunes, I disappeared another way, lost him. And these guys are chasing us, dude, and all you hear is like gunshotting, and you know... like this, just like straight onto the main road. So like we used to go like through a dam, and I think they kind of saw which way we're going. Dude, literally, like not motorways, but just main roads all the way home, just pinned, like no license. Got home, phoned him, are you home? Yeah. And dude, like it's probably the most adrenaline I've ever had in my whole entire life.
When you tell stories like that, does it make you realise how different like Tate and Braxton's upbringing is going to be to yours? If they're sticking around Northampton, I don't think they're going to get shot at riding dirt bikes, are they?
I have to say, I've been in Northampton. I've seen a few dudes riding dirt bikes around Northampton. I think we've all seen them,
It's a different scene, but everything's different, dude. Like that's one little aspect, but everything you look at, you know, like I watched that, the podcast that they did with Mitch Payton and Troy Lee, and some of the stories that came out of that, and you just laughed, dude. Like it's a very different scene now to what it was, even if you go back 10 or 15 years.
Like the parties and stuff.
Yeah, like, and even like, you know, like guys getting the crack on the aeroplanes and messing about and joking, and you know, it was a lot more chilled.
Truck fights back in the day, we've had a few of those, chucking food out the side or baked beans out the side of trucks and stuff on the motorway.
It doesn't happen, like weird, it just doesn't happen anymore. I think maybe because you get into trouble for that sort of stuff now.
Social media, there's evidence everywhere now, isn't there?
I suppose
Yeah, just the off-roading thing, like you said, it does give you a different skill set, or develops a different skill set, because I was there, I thought I'd breeze it. I thought, these dudes, I was looking at them like gear up and stuff and like ride out, like, these dudes couldn't ride around a motocross track as quick as me, no way. And then like you get to technical bits going up a mountain, like we was 2,000 metres up, so it's hard and snowed in and things like that. And there's like a cliff down there and these giant boulders we're trying to get over, and I'm thinking, shit, I can't do that. I can't do that. You expected me to do that? And they was like, go for it. I was like, all right, I'll go for it.
Little boys are
and I'm like, Jesus Christ. And I made a GoPro video. It's pretty much just 5 minutes of me swearing at myself, because I crashed a lot. And I just thought it was funny, like, when I was doing it, I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm stuck up trying to get out of this quarry. I'm stuck. I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, I'm going to go down, go up again, sweating my arse off, like, so much harder than I thought it was going to be, like, just, like, physically. And I'm like, why the f*** am I doing this?
I said that, dude. And then I did an extreme thing in South Africa, and I was sitting with David Goosen, and we said exactly this. It's cool, and it's gnarly, and it's, like, hard, and you do it, and you feel cool. And then you'll see somebody stuck in a rock section for, like, 20 minutes, and you're like, is that fun? Or you hit, like, you see people going over the bars all the time, and you're like, What enjoyment are you actually getting out of that,
it's weird, isn't it? Because you do it when you do it, and then like I was getting out this quarry, and it's this huge. I said to my dad, "It's like Erzberg, Dad. It's like Erzberg."
Yeah.
And then he saw the GoPro, and he's like, "That's not like Erzberg." So that's not. But you get to the top, you get out of this quarry, you like kind of drag your bike over the hill, and you're like, it's a good feeling when you're like,
cool.
yes, I'm out of there.
Like Carl's Diner in Ellsworth.
It wasn't like that, but in my mind it was when I was doing it. And it's like you get to the top, you're like, yeah, that was sick.
Yeah,
and the funny thing about that was, I thought the only reason I was getting out, like doing this huge hill climb, was I thought that's the only way out of this mine that we was in.
Yeah.
And then the guy that we've got, this local Bulgarian, there was all like ex-special forces from like communist days, so they're like hard boys, like you don't want to mess with them. And like the bike's broke, they can just fix anything. And he just goes to me, "We go back down now." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, that's a bit of fun." I was like, "That's not the way out." He's like, "No." Because we had to go and rescue someone because they ran out of fuel in this bog.
Oh, yes.
It was actually quite funny because I was on this bike and I swapped with this dude for his two-stroke.
Yeah.
And he went on a bike that I was on and it ran out of fuel on him. And I was on this two-stroke going up this hill and I felt quite bad about it.
Good deal.
Yeah. Going back to Russia then, another thing that came out of Russia that I think we need to talk about is, have you seen the Bosch GP press releases that have been going out?
Yes,
There's a lot of talk about that. Yeah. Firstly, have you heard from Bobby? Is he okay? Or?
Yeah, he's okay. He's broke his tib and fib. He's waiting for surgery, I think, on Monday. They've got some weights pulling his leg not apart, but like pulling it to keep it like so you stretch it. And he's just got to wait for the swelling to go down. As soon as the swelling goes down, then they can operate in pin or plate or however they're going to fix it.
Have you heard what happened?
Well, from what he said, it was Gautier Paulin's fault. I mean, it wasn't his fault. But what happened was Paulin come across and just took his front wheel on the straight, I think, come across him. And then as he took his front wheel, he just put his leg straight out. And then that did it straight away. So it wasn't like a mistake by Bobby. It was more Paulin just come straight up front his front wheel, hit him, put his leg out. That was it, done, really.
So what's next for him? Because he was going to take some time off anyway, wasn't he, for his wrist?
I think they finally found there's a ligament broken in his wrist. So
it's crazy that it's been like since before Hawkstone, wasn't it?
Yeah, you think January they would have noticed that?
It's been 6 months.
Yeah, and it's took a long time for them to notice that. And I think they found it in Russia as soon as he got there. Like only like last week, the guy looked and went, "Look, your ligament's broken."
Did he have like a doctor in Russia that he goes to? And
he did. He went and saw someone. He looked at the first scan and said, "Look, that's broken. That needs repairing." And Bobby was like, "What? Like I've been nearly 6 months and no one's told me that," which is confirmed. It needs doing. So his plan was to do Russia, and then get it repaired. But obviously now he's got to wait for the leg to get pinned and then get home. And then obviously get the wrist done, and then just got to wait and see how long it takes for him to heal up. Then basically,
that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was wondering because you kind of see. Obviously, I wasn't watching the race because I was at the BYCs on the weekend, but I kind of see the reports that he's not finished and he's injured himself, and then you see the reports of Tommy saying he's not riding. It's a bike thing. I was like thinking worse. Oh shit, was it a bike?
Yeah, no, nothing to do with the bike. Not with Bobby in any case.
So a bit like going back to the Boss press releases, their press release about Bobby I thought was really, really cool.
Yep.
Like they did this big long post thanking him for everything, saying we're going to stick by you. Then the next day they did another one. They keep getting all the attention because these press releases, have you seen it?
I did, yeah. I really
it's I don't know if they do it on purpose, like they're purposely trying to get like the shares and the clicks, or it's just kind of like, I don't know, they're passionate and they're kind of, that's how they express themselves. There's a language barrier kind of thing, and it comes across to us a bit like OTT, but it was, I don't know, definitely a talking point.
I was picking Taylor from school and I had 5 minutes and I saw it come up and I read it and I don't know, like when you get to that sort of level and you're putting out stuff like that, I don't think it's cool. You know,
bizarre.
like rather like spend the time fixing Tommy's bike or whatever the problem is, or have a meeting with Tommy and sort out what Tommy's issues are and try to get him to get results, than to take the time to go put something like that out in the press. You know, like as a rider, like if I was Tommy reading that, riding for Boss, I'd be like, nah, like, you know, like there's certain people that you're going to go to 100 for and you want to do a good job for. If I saw somebody put something like that out about myself, negative like that, I'd be like, nah. You know, it makes you question like where everything's at, you know, like, and just the professionalism of it, you know, like, it's almost like when you're like a child at school, isn't it? Like somebody said this about me, so I'm going to back myself up and tell the world something that I put my side across, you know, where like I think that sort of stuff should be kept indoors, you know, like sit Tommy down and have Tommy at that meeting with Tommy. No one needs to know. put whatever you want in the press, but stuff like that I think should be between the rider and the team manager, and that's it. It shouldn't be out in the press.
Because definitely the way they do it is like, you see like Racer X, they obviously get all the press releases from the GPs, and the only one I ever see them shout about is these ones.
Yeah.
Because it is different, it does get clicks, and...
Yeah,
it gets clicks, and it's a difficult one for me to talk about, to be honest, because obviously I know Bobby really well. I know Tommy really well. It's just very different. Like, if you look at the press release they put out about Tommy, and then I read the email about Bobby, and Kawasaki's a really good motorcycle. There's no question about that.
Mm-hmm.
And they had problems in France, which was probably maybe wasn't their problem. Do you know what I mean, or what it was? But Kawasaki's a good motorcycle. There's no question. So they need to. I don't know. They need to. Their press releases, to me, don't really make sense. They're kind of a little bit strange, and it's very different to what someone else would put in. And Tommy at the weekend obviously didn't feel confident to get back on the bike, which is strange because he rides Kawasaki's every week, trains. Matt from Evo Tech looks after him in the British Championship. And they're doing good there. So it's a strange one. With a team. Like every team, you've got to test, you've got to try stuff, and I think Neville's right. What they're saying there, they're good. They're supporting Bobby, with what they've said and stuff, which is good. And Bobby did really well last year on the Suzuki. For the team to be the first year and to do he had a good training, and he did the arena cross obviously with us at Lombard. So I don't know. It's just a very different type of press release. It's like I've never seen anything like that either. No. It's like a yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. It's like they're answering all the questions people maybe put on the internet. Yeah. And trying to answer them, and then they're putting all the yeses and they're putting all the nos. But at the end of the day, Tommy's a fit guy, good rider. You give him a good bike, give him a good start. He's going to stay. If he starts 5th to 10 or whatever, he's going to stay there. So it's a shame that he didn't start in Russia, because obviously at the end of the day there's a good rider sat there. Long way to sit, and so they need to try and rectify them problems. Hopefully they can get it sorted.
It is hard though, like you'll know as well, like it's the vibe in a team, like when you got a good vibe in a team, everything seems to click a lot easier. And I think doing stuff like that, just, I don't know, man, it just puts a bad vibe on stuff.
Vibe in the air, kind of
bad vibe on stuff, like you want a team that's going to do well, is normally a happy team, the mechanics get on, the riders get on, everyone kind of like is bouncing off each other with a positive energy, which leads to good results.
Well, your best years on DB were like, that was the kind of environment, it was kind of
always, like I actually said to Neil, like that's something I enjoyed when I was riding for him. You want to do well for the guy. When I was riding for the Motorvision boys, they put everything they had into it, and I wanted to do well for those guys. DB wanted to do well, and you can tell straight away within working with somebody for a month, what their intentions are, and it's very different. Obviously people that run teams are very different, and you yourself are different. When you're growing up, you're young, you don't understand the world, but you can kind of work out people's intentions quite quick. And always the years when you've done well, or the years you're happy, you get on with the people you're with, you get on with your mechanic, your teammates, whether you get on with them or not, but like you're there to do your job. And I just find, and in the years when you're not bad, when you struggle through seasons, there's stress in the team, or not always, but a lot of the time. As soon as there's stress in the team, and like racing a motorbike is stressful enough to do well. You have to have everything in line. And when you've got the stress coming from somewhere else as well, I think it just, it knocks your confidence as well, I think, like when you have stuff like that going on.
Well, after the weekend, if that was, if I was running that team, you'd kind of have nothing to say other than, look, we've got to get Tommy back on board. We've got a lot of work to do, because it's not like the first time they've had problems at the races. And poor Tommy is probably working with Tommy. He's no different to yourself. He rides, he trains, he puts the right effort in.
Like Tommy's like top 5 world championship rider, no doubt.
And he just wants to be doing the best job he can. So the last thing Tommy wanted to do at the weekend was not start on Sunday. Probably actually really upset him not having to race, because he does put it on the line every time he gets on the bike. The way he gives full commitment. So
that's another like I read from him. I read I don't know who it was. Somebody put on Facebook and like a very negative thing about it, And it's something like, like when they say riders are complaining or whatever, like a lot of riders is constructive criticism. Like you've put your off season in, you do motos, like you said, Tommy, like round rough tracks, doing 35-minute motos, you training, you eating right, but you need that bike to be right, dude. So like if you're saying this needs to change or that needs to change, it should be like, okay, let's try that,
Because at the end of the day, it's your body on the line, isn't it? It's stuff that they're doing.
Like you want that bike to be right so that you can get rewards for the work you've put in, and then also the team gets a reward from that. If you're happy and you're happy with your bike and you've done your testing, you're going to do well. Everyone does well. You do well yourself. The team gets, the team sponsors everything. But when you start butting heads about stuff, or when you can't go practicing because your practice bike's done, or you haven't got tires, or your clutch is always gone, or that's the sort of stuff like where you get to like not saying that Boss isn't a top team, but when you get to like, for example, Ben Watson, when he went on that Yamaha team, dude, that is just like, I saw him at Dunkirk. He's got suspension people, he's got mechanics, everything in that team is rolling, like
to help his results.
His results, he went top 3 or 4 in the world that year, because it's not just one or two, it's like a whole thing. You got a whole big base carrying you through, good vibe, and I think that's what it takes. Like at that level, I think you need like a practice bike mechanic. Like, dude, when you're doing 35-minute motors on a sand track, no matter how good your bike is, that bike needs checking over, stuff needs doing. And then when you're at that level, like for a rider yourself, dude, you pretty much just have to do that, and then you either got to go rest, do like a recovery cycle, and get yourself ready for the next day, not wasting energy trying to think, oh, geez, I wonder how I'm going to fix this, or...
Yeah, like that's like when you said when you went privateer on the Yamaha, wasn't it? The Yamaha or the Husky that year. Like when you're trying to do everything yourself, it's like so much more. Well, is that something, as a team manager, obviously you've been team manager of Cass, Lombard, MX Nations and stuff, is that something that you always try and create, that kind of atmosphere? I know it's not easy to create all the time, but...
Well, what I've realised over the years is when obviously Ryan put his back out, I had to go to Portugal look after Sean, and we had we had to pretty much rebuild the bike because we're in Montevar. Ryan was the week before, and it was an absolute proper mud hole. So when we got to France, to Portugal, the first thing I asked the rider is how do you want it to run? Because you've got to ask Sean, right? How do you like it? How do you like the bike? What do you want me to do on race day? You ask him all them questions. So if the rider goes, right, I want it like this, I want the pit board like this, I want the bike like this. Like Sean didn't like the spray I put on the bike. Like I kind of cover Joel's in a lot of shiny spray. Mm-hmm. Sean doesn't like that. As soon as he told me, I'm like, okay, fine. Like it's not like you take that as like a negative. You take that, right? Okay, that's how he likes his bike. So you get it how you want it. So then it gives the rider no answer to come back or a problem. And I found with Cass, and maybe this is why we spent a lot of money as well at Cass, is because you try and make the riders happy as they can. So if they say, I want to ride 4 days this week, you let them ride 4 days. Where maybe some teams go, no, you can ride once this week, because they're thinking, right, if we go 4 days, it's going to be 4 tanks of fuel, it's going to be this, costs a lot of money. So that's the way I'd run it. And going on to Tommy and the Boss thing again, it was a crated GP. So if Tommy's engine broke on Saturday in the qualifying heat, could have been they didn't have enough parts to get the bike going properly for the next day. And you just kind of sit and think, well, professional team, they should have had all them parts. It's not an easy when you load a crate and you have to go there. You got to
kind of guess what's most important, what's on the list, what could go wrong.
And you got Bobby there back again, and you got Tommy. So in theory, you've got like 2 riders. And if that'll be 2 engines they should have taken, all the parts. And one thing, the bit I was getting to is in France, me and Ryan had to get the crate ready for Russia. So we had to take it Monday, straight after the GP, France, to Jackie Mines' place, loaded, ready to go, picked up by, I think, Cell. They take it to Russia. So one thing I noticed when I loaded the crate for Bobby back in 2010 for Brazil, like I put like a bike, set of wheels, and got the fuel at the race. So that's all I put in my crate was a bike, set of wheels and a few plastics. For Sean, we took enough bits to pretty much rebuild the whole bike, from brakes to suspension to spare subframe to sprockets to spare engine. I was quite gobsmacked on how much stuff we put in that crate. But then when you think about it, if Sean had a problem on Saturday, bent the subframe, and we hadn't took one, like, oh, hold on a second, we can't make one out of chocolate here. Do you know what I mean? So you need it. So, you know,
you spent all the money getting there, dude. You might,
like, to me, you know, the way we did it, you know, I was like loading the crate going, God, I'm Bennett, it's changed a lot since 2010. How much?
Yeah, they've done, well,
we had everything in there.
The first few flyaway races when they're going that far, and they've had so many now, haven't they? It's kind of down to a T what they need to take and how to pack it and things like that.
Like Ryan knew exactly everything he needed, and you know, when I was loading the crate, I was like, God, I'm Bennett, dude, we can build a brand new bike. And then when you speak to him, or you know, I'm thinking, right, okay, we pretty much got everything in here, you know. And we also took Charlie's 252 stroke as well, so you know, our crate was like to the roof full. But you kind of think it's maybe a bit of overkill, but you know, you look that situation, you have an engine go or you break a subframe,
you won't be thinking that when you've got something you can't get to.
Exactly. Sure. Do you know what I mean? So we had enough stuff in there to do that, and the crate's being used again this weekend because they get delivered to Latvia. So then Charlie and Scott, the truck driver, they're flying out using the crate there again, and then it gets picked up from there, and we don't see it till Belgium. So that crate has been used for like 2 events for 2 riders, basically.
It's kind of I can never get my head around like logistics of it, because I was talking to Riva Husqvarna guys at Blacksaw, and they was like, oh yeah, we packed that one to Russia and we're packing one for Latvia now, and there's all this stuff moving around. You're like, geez, when you're just watching TV, like, oh yeah, they're in Russia now, just ride some bikes. You don't think about
there's big logistics behind
everything behind it.
17 GP straight Ryan's going to have to do. You know, obviously Sean's injured at the minute, and he's hopefully back for Desert Martin. So he's missed them races, but if he hadn't, it was 17 races straight. So you imagine the bikes, getting the engines. It's quite a big job. And obviously I went to France with Joel. Me and Ryan did the crate to go to Russia. Like when I loaded, I was like, God, you know, we're not going to see this now till the week after Latvia again. You know, Sean obviously didn't ride in Russia, so the bike's just been transported round. So that bike there, technically, when it's put back together, is ready for it's maybe Checo after Desert Martin and British Championship. So you know, it's kind of logistics of all that. It's kind of difficult. And
after Desert Martin, it's the Indonesia, isn't it?
Yes, Indonesia. So technically, I don't think Sean's doing Indonesia. I don't, because obviously there's no point with missing the races we've just missed. So you know, that's kind of a bike and a half, kind of been still in a crate, where then you've got the bikes to get ready for Desert Martin. So you know, it's logistically it's a big job, for sure. Big job.
Right, shall we take a break there, and then after the break we'll jump into our main topic of the day. We want to say a big thank you to our sponsors for this week's show, BeMoto. Now, BeMoto have an awesome deal going on at the moment. You can get £20 off your race van insurance if you use the code 999LASER. As you know, many motocross riders and racers will have a van or transporter to carry their bikes and accessories to events. BeMoto's race van insurance has been designed to offer the motocross community an affordable method of insuring such vehicles, up to 17.5 tonnes, and as long as it's not a main vehicle and has a main use of transporting bikes. In other words, it's not for social use or used commercially. There's a few more criteria to this, but you can check out the full details in the description down below, as well as the link to check it out. Thanks once again to BeMoto for supporting the show. Right, let's jump back into it then. The main topic of discussion today then, going on from the Russia thing, obviously there was a lot of crashes in Russia and a lot of talk about, is the track dangerous or was the level of the track good? So that got me thinking about tracks. And I was thinking about what's the worst tracks I ever rode and what was my favourite track I ever rode. So kind of the topic today is going to be best and worst tracks. And I think let's play a little game and try and convince each other whose track's the best and why. So we'll do a bit of a debate, and then people in the comments can chuck in their 5 cents as well and tell us their favourite tracks and who's got the best argument here. So I'll start off then. This is funny from what we were talking about before, but growing up, my favourite track, hands down, was Ellsworth, growing up. And I know you like Ellsworth, right? But before you saying you got bored of Ellsworth. So let's talk a little bit about Ellsworth Motor Park. If anyone never rode there, it's a hard packed track, not around anymore, but hard track, real jumpy. And there's not much else like it around these days, I would say.
I wouldn't say I didn't like it. Like, I liked it, don't get me wrong. But what I found was Ellsworth is I never really practiced there that much. Mm-hmm. But when I went there, I think it was the last year it was open. When I got there, I did 2-3 laps and I was like, right, okay, it's Ellsworth. I've done 2 laps, I can go home now. Because I'm at that age, you know what I mean? But that's my thing. And Ellsworth is a track that, you know, someone needs to chuck some money, get it reopened, it's like part of motocross. And I say that about a lot of tracks. Like Matcham's Park, another mega track. But the bit at Ellsworth, I'm going to say, when I've done the 2 laps, I can nearly pull in and go home. Where maybe I couldn't bang out a 20-minute moto there. Not that I've in a long time done 20-minute motos, but that's the bit about Ellsworth I found. I could miss it for like a year, go there and be 1 lap and go, right, Ellsworth, covered.
Yeah, you got it quick. I think, like, for me, the reason I like Ellsworth is because it was a very South African style track. I never ever raced there. I was just used it as a practice track.
I never raced there. It was, by the time I came in to like to 65, it finished racing.
Yeah, like, I mean, it was a sick track to practice on, you know, just fun, you know, like one of those tracks that's fun. And then
like if it would rain the week before and he ripped it and it was mega tacky.
It was sick,
I thought it was so good.
And then also just Andy's vibe. But like, Andy's the guy I got a lot of time for. Always love spending time around him. Always to this day, like, I sit in the start line and I still go through the techniques that he told me. You know, so just that whole vibe was always good for me. There was always a good crowd of people there as well. You know,
like what we was talking about, like vibes in teams and stuff. Like that track always had a cool vibe. Didn't it? Like you go to some tracks and you like sitting in the paddock and it's like, paddock's not very nice. It's kind of like rocky grounds, and it's like you go to Ellsworth grass field,
always
kind of like chilled out.
Group of people as well at Ellsworth. You know,
have a barbecue there. You could actually go to Ellsworth and go, right, I'm going to go there, do a few laps, have a cool, throw a few whips on the jumps. Yeah, have the barbecue on, a few beers.
Days,
it's when you could take like we used to go there as kids, and like before we started riding, we'd go around, like Dad'd be out on the track, and then grandparents, mum, you could walk all the way around. Then it's all like grass, it's all nice.
And also, like, I think what people enjoyed Ellsworth was, like, Andy respected the people that came and rode there. You know, like, he had his rules. His rules are straight. You knew the rules. If you did something wrong, he'd tell you. But he always treated people with respect, you know.
It's
like,
good guy. This guy missed in the sport. Big time.
Massive. It's a big difference. Like, there's ways to tell people stuff, you know. Like, I've been at practice tracks, I've been spoken to, like, and as soon as people come on that vibe, dude, you're like, you know, you have to go straight back, where Andy had a way of, you know,
no matter who you were, I was like a little kid. You was like Nev Bradshaw riding in the MX2, treat you the same as me, and I was riding around an 85.
100%, very, very, like a very nice man. It's cool.
So, what would be your favourite track you've ever ridden, or one of?
That's a like $1 million question, really.
Obviously you've ridden a lot of tracks in your time.
I like Hawkstone Park, but there's one track, schoolboy track called Cheddleton.
Never ridden it.
That was
whereabouts is that?
That's near Congleton, and I think it's actually called Cheddleton. It's up that way, Stoke-on-Trent.
Just making up names again.
Yeah. No, it isn't. It isn't
the Welsh. In Wales, they talk about
there's a lot of people who will have heard Cheddleton and gone, that was a mega track.
What kind of track was it? Like hard pack, sand,
hilly,
natural?
Sand, little bit sandy. Had lots of uphills, downhills. There was like a big double jump there, which my friend Steve McMillan jumped. Well, he says he does. No, he did jump it. And
did you see him jump it?
Yeah, he did. He'd jump anything, dude.
Doesn't count anything.
That's it.
That was like Ellsworth, like that Honda Rise jump before the finish. There's two tables that people used to jump.
Yeah, we all did that. You never do that.
I was on an 85. No, only one kid did it on 85 actually. Sid Evans. He doesn't ride anymore.
Sid Evans, number 400.
500.
500. Yeah, I remember.
I remember seeing him do it. I think we got it on video. Him doing it on a KTM 85, and you're like, oh crap! Like all the adults on the 125s, 250s are like, crap.
But that Cheddleton's on there. That Cheddleton, if you Google it, JP's there riding.
Is it still riding now?
No, it's gone.
It was that in 21 round.
Yeah,
I remember
Lee Williams was racing with him there.
I remember watching that.
That's mega. That's one of the best tracks. Like when I was a schoolboy, I was growing up through there. That track got ruined because the farmer there, he was had plenty of money, but he was like he'd take the money to use the track, but then he got tired of people emptying their waste tanks and stuff there.
Probably a lot of tracks.
And that's why he stopped it, just closed it. But that track, if you Google it, Google Maps, I know it's really sad, but if you go in there, track's still there. And that's the type of place, like Ellsworth. About a year ago, I drove past Ellsworth, coming up that way.
Yeah.
I actually walked it. It said on the don't go in, I actually walked the track. Ellsworth still sat there.
Is the track still there?
Track's there, dude.
Is it really?
I've got a video of it on my phone.
Jeez.
I'll send it to you. Like, it's
they
still
always
there.
said they was going to turn it into fishing lakes, but nothing ever happened to it.
The only bit that's gone is, remember where the big tabletop was? The table where you come into the left?
Yeah.
Like, that bit there, just a little bit of that corner's gone, but the tabletop's still there.
Really, man?
The whole track's there. That's what I mean. Andy needs to, like, we need to get him motivated, get him back up there.
Get Coops on it, get Coops running it.
Yeah, that's what we need to do.
It's your job, that, mate.
Yeah, I'll do it. Jeez, I'll do it.
So Chelton is one of my, if it's a track, I'm up that way driving one day, I'll probably just go see the farm if you let me walk down the field, and the track, you can see it is like still there,
Sweet.
like mega track.
What about for you? Top tracks? Obviously, you've experienced a wide variety of motocross tracks around the world.
Yeah.
So, are you going to surprise us with something?
Dude, like, I would like to choose, like, obviously I've raced in South Africa, I've got my favourite track there, raced here, I've raced World Championships, got my favourite tracks there, but one track I'll never forget the feeling I had when I finished, which is why I'm going to say it, is the Isle of Wight. When they had that track there.
The GP track.
Jeez, that track was so sick. I remember...
I can't really remember it, but was it quite like big jumps and...
Big jumps, but then you're also going up and down a massive hill.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's kind of like a valley.
Yeah, like you jump up the hill, but then there's camber turns, but like big jumps. And like Johnny Douglas Hamilton, I reckon he's one of the best tracks. Like any track I've ridden of his has been amazing. Like,
well, what tracks has he done?
I think he built the track on Western Beach, which was sweet.
For the Pro Nationals that year?
Yeah. He did that. He did that track. What other? Then in Scotland, he did quite a few tracks. So he used to live in Scotland. He did quite a few of those tracks.
He did Matley Basin, and he was the first guy to do it.
He did Matley the first time that Matley was there, because the first race was in 06. There was GP there. I did that.
Yeah. So he's kind of signature big
his
jumps.
stuff was but like, dude, like you could race on his tracks. Like,
Mm-hmm.
They had big jumps, but he like the angles of the jumps were like all different. Like, it was so sick. But that track and the loam, like there was one part of the track was like a little bit hard, but then the loam at the top of the track, and like you could see the whole track. So people could watch on the hill, you can see the whole entire track.
Yeah.
And again, like the atmosphere, the British Championship. That was actually the first British Championship race I did here was at that track in 03.
Yeah.
Then my first podium was at that track in 4, at the last race in 4. And then I think I did a couple of GPs there, but man, just sickest weekends. They had like this step up. Do you remember that step up? You jump this step down a big hill, and then you hug the step up, dude. And like there's just barks upside down every single lap. Like so sick. Like those days, like when people used to actually throw whips and shit in the jumps.
Yeah.
Just people laying it down, and so I'd say that's like like GP track, and in England that track, and in South Africa's got like a lot of cool tracks that are really fun to ride.
He built Sun City.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
he did. Yeah, that was a GP. That was a mega track.
Tracks, yeah,
and I think he did an Ellsworth as well. Johnny's got a good eye.
Yes, he did. I forgot about that place. Yeah,
I think Johnny was he was quite a decent technical rider himself.
Yeah,
and he's got a good eye for building tracks. Like for sure, his tracks are really good.
What was your favourite track in South Africa then?
South Africa, there's a track called Bloemfontein. They've actually just had their last nationals in Bloemfontein, and the jumps were insane. And the
Hardpack.
Kind of like Lomi, like a Lomi type of track, but like big jumps. Like, dude, like step ups. You think the step up is big, and then there's a landing down the bottom. You jump all the way to the step down like that, and they got this jump called Seventh Heaven, like a big triple step up, and then. It's quite weird, it's funny how you grow up, there was a lot of tracks around me, and there's one track we used to go to every Wednesday, and you're just pounding out 30s, and you actually get such a connection with that track.
Mm-hmm.
So thinking back there, if you want to go back to a happy place, you go back to the motors around that track.
Yeah.
There was a lot of cool tracks in South Africa that people used to build them, but there's just jumps everywhere, rhythm sections, but big jumps, dude. And then like on a motocross track, there'd be a set of whoops that you got to skim, proper Supercross whoops just down straight. So there was always really fun. And then when I came here, I struggled with that. Where's all the jumps, dude? You just pinned everywhere. Literally, I was there's no jumps. There was literally it was the biggest thing I had to get issue with there. Dude, was
like you say, why you liked Ellsworth.
Yeah. First lap of practice, you're the man if you just hucked everything. Where here it was a lot. It took you got to get your speed up a lot more here than what it was there. And then World Championship tracks. I'll tell you which track I really liked was Portugal.
A grader?
Yeah, a grader. I
I
really
always
enjoy
like
it.
watching it on
different now.
TV. I always like watching it on TV.
Completely different track
Is it
now.
different
Yeah,
now? Yeah,
completely
Is it
different. Yeah.
different? I didn't watch it on TV last time.
Yeah, it's quite a lot different to what it was back in the day. Some people have always go, no, it isn't. But when I went there this
Basically
year,
the same layout, though.
basically
right?
the same, but it's a little bit more muddy. Like kind of, it's
Because
like,
it was like red
soft
clay.
It used to be
wasn't
like a red,
Red.
like kind of like loamy type of red.
Mhm.
I enjoyed that place.
and not much overtaking there either. It's got like more twist backs. Do you know what I mean? Type of thing. Like I think a lot of GPs now, you don't see much overtaking because the way the tracks let themselves go, and they're quite narrow as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're not the widest tracks really.
Man, you actually, if you actually think about like how many different motocross tracks you've raced in your life,
It's a lot, yeah.
mind blowing, dude. And how many sick tracks you've been to, you know, like you know, you've lived a good life if like the good tracks outweigh the bad tracks for you, you know, like that's
Yeah.
actually quite cool.
But like you were saying about what track you think is like your happy place. I've got two. Ellsworth is one,
Yeah.
and the other one is a track called Kaweah Creek in California.
Oh, do you
the
like
one,
that place?
The one up in the mountains.
I've been there.
Every time I rode there,
Did
I
you
was like,
enjoy it?
fell in love with motocross
Dude,
again.
that's one place I didn't enjoy in America.
Really?
Yeah, the speed of it. Like, I'm not really like a dude
When
that
did you
likes...
go?
I was there in 2011.
You mean about all the straights? It's quite fast
Dude,
up
and
the
you
hills.
jumping
Yeah.
so far down
Yeah,
the hills and the jumps.
I just thought it was, compared to the rest of the tracks there, like the soil and stuff, it was by
Yeah,
far the
yeah,
best soil,
yeah.
kind of like you say, loamy and
Yeah,
deeper than the rest.
It was quite deep and stuff.
But every time I went there, I was like, I love
You
riding
did it.
motocross bikes again. Like,
It's
you
funny
go to
how
some-
like motocross can give you that feeling, eh? Like,
Yeah.
and like you say when you go back to your happy place, like the feeling you get from that one day 12 years ago,
yeah,
or you can go back even further, you can still feel that feeling that you got from practicing around that track. Like there's not many other things in life like you can go back and say, oh yeah, I remember that school test I did,
yeah,
16
yeah.
years, you know what I mean? It's
Like when you're riding, your road bike, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember when I did that quarter before me. Like,
yeah,
no.
we do a triathlon. Yeah, I remember running down that straight as fast as I could, hurting, feeling like my arsehole was gonna fall out.
Did you go to Lake Elsinore in
Yeah, I
America?
did. Yeah,
Like I went
But
there.
I went there because I was a bit younger, and when they did that nationals there, I was maybe
Yeah.
like 14 or 15, and like you just
Yeah.
think, oh, the MMA nationals there must be a sick track.
Yeah.
You see it, and you see it on the TV. It looked presented well. Then you go drive past it, see the sign. You're like, oh, I recognise that sign. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go there. And you go there, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
It's
no,
just
no.
like
Right, it was
flat,
nice,
like a
yeah.
motorway, and
Yeah.
just
I think
and it was
I
never
rode
prepped well when
Supercross
I was
there.
there.
They had a Supercross track there. That's
Yeah,
all I used to ride
they
there.
did quite
yeah.
a lot of Supercross there. But when I went there, it was never really prepped.
Mm.
I think they used to go like Dean Wilson used to go there a lot because they just rip it up and leave it, and the
Yeah.
rush used to be massive.
Okay.
But
on the
it
motocross
was
track.
on the motocross, but it was always marbly.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So
like
it was-
quite like a light kind of dirt,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
I'm
I only
so-
went there once. I was doing the Supercross, and then I just did a few laps on the motocross track, but I didn't.
I'm showing my age now because I'm thinking when I went there it was back in 03, 04,
Yeah.
I think Cast days, and it was like the M6 motorway. It was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like wide open straights with jumps with not
Yeah.
even a bump
There was
on
no,
there.
Yeah.
there was it was pretty much like that. Like it's one of those tracks where they've tried to like, it's a flat. It's like a Lake Ellsworth, so it's like on a lake bed
Yeah.
basically, isn't it? So it's
That's
all
it.
flat, and they've tried to make some like hills and get some elevation there.
Now they have,
Yeah, now they
when I was there it was complete flat just with jumps, big tabletops, like
Yeah.
straight backs.
Up
That
and
was
down.
Another track out there that I went to that I really liked was a place called LACR. It's like quite out there on the
yeah.
other side of LA, maybe like 3 hours, maybe like 2 hours from like Lake Elsinore on those tracks. But it was the track. Do you remember a few years ago? There's a viral video of the kid called, I think his name was Rookie White, and he came down his hill and there's two tabletops, and he jumped both of them, and he kind of landed and
The
went
guy
straight
on
off
the
the track.
Yamaha.
Yeah, and it was
Or
like
the
a
dude that
huge jump.
jumped it in traffic.
Yeah, and you watch it.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
And it looks
man.
weird because it's like big mounds all the way around the outside of the track.
Yeah,
But we went there and like the soil was
that looked like
absolutely
a cool
prime.
track.
It was like the M6 motorway,
Yeah.
completely flat. But like for me, I was like, yes.
Those
Don't
boys,
have to worry
those
about
boys
those
were
jumps.
like, I remember when I was out there, they can go, like Justin Hill was just about to go pro, and they can run those berms hard. Eh? When
Yeah.
you do the local races there, dude, like, it teaches you to go for, it's the same in South Africa. Like, when I was doing the nationals out there, like, you got to, like, the tracks in Durban and stuff would get pretty sweet, but in Johannesburg, there's just massive berms in every corner, and
Yeah.
like, dude, like, no one even goes on the inside. Like,
Yeah.
literally, dude, you
That's
just...
what when we did Blue Murder and you was round the outside of all them birds, flashed out.
that's pretty
Good
well I could do that,
practice.
yeah.
One of the tracks out there that I never rode, but I always saw videos of, and I know people that have ridden it, was Zaka Station.
Yeah, I've rode there.
I've heard that's like one of the best tracks in the world.
I forgot about that. That's a really nice track.
It's gone now. Do you know that?
No, I didn't know
it's
that.
Gone. I'm pretty sure it's gone. I think.
Okay.
I don't know why they have noise complaints or something.
Oh, because I know Honda had a Supercross track there at the bottom. I think I saw a video there, and then they would sometimes on the track and stuff. The outdoor.
You know what I struggled with in America, and I also struggled with this when I went back home, and that's one of the reasons I stopped going back home to do my pre-season practicing back in South Africa was. Like that track we were at today, dude, just bumps everywhere, ruts everywhere. You got to choose your line. You got to think about, and most tracks in England, like you go Fat Cats or most of the practice tracks are changing every lap.
Yeah.
And I found like when I went back to South Africa and America, like some tracks in America, not all tracks in America, like like the tracks like the easier tracks, your mind doesn't work. So you get up to your pace and you can go 40 minutes within a second the whole way. You get on your line. And that's it, like the track doesn't really change. You're scrubbing everything. Where here, dude, like just 2 or 3 corners, and you like got to think. You get a nice flow.
Track's
like,
changed. Yeah,
just everything. I don't know. It just keeps your like. I remember going back home and just thinking, man, just like you're not just wasting fuel, but you're just wasting fuel. Yeah. Like you're getting your time in your bike, but you're not developing. You're not growing. And I think that's why a lot of kids coming out of South Africa take a while to develop when they get to Europe, is because their minds aren't ready. Like you don't have to choose different lines. There's one good line.
Yeah.
If you can rail a berm quick, you're going to rail a berm quick. If you're going to scrub the jump, everyone can scrub the jumps. Where here they get you, dude, and in England when you've got like 7 ruts down a straight,
isn't it? Basically,
it's like kind of more thinking.
Super gnarly.
That's kind of what I was about with Ellsworth and places like, because obviously I just ride now for a bit of fun and stuff. I'd rather go to a track and like today, I'd probably, if I went there and go, I'm going to ride the Sand Quarry today. Kind of probably not enjoy it, but like you'd kind of be technical all day, and whatever you do, you'd be like, all right, that's good.
You get one thing nice, and it's like that's a big thing to get that one corner good type of thing. Yeah.
Where if you went to a track, say Ellsworth, just say you went there, you did one lap, you did all the jumps, come in and be like, okay.
Yeah, where do you go from here?
And I think I struggled a bit that even when I was racing, I preferred a track you could actually find technical. Instead of a track where you just like wide open, like that Lake Elsinore. We went there back in that day. It's like 2004 or whatever, and I was riding then as well. Yussi was there, Gordy was there, Yoshi Adzuta, and I remember riding the track thinking, my good God, we're in like 6th gear in these tabletops. Like, what's the point of this track?
Scary, kind of like needlessly quick, isn't it?
Yeah, and the Kahula Creek you're on about, I went there with Graham not many years ago, and that track was like technical. You'd ride it and you'd be like, oh, right, you've got to really think about this bit, that bit. Where Neville's right, if you go to a track where there's kids just banging out laps, they're outside every corner, just railing the berms, never going inside, they're not really progressing that much.
I think that's why I like Kahula Creek, because out there, while I was out there for like 3 months, I did quite a lot of riding out there, and that was the track like there where it did get bumpy quickly. The lines did change a lot, and I think that's why I like that one. And the soil was sick as well. Do you ever get those tracks that you only rode? You maybe only did once,
and you'll never go back.
But you get the ones that you never go back, or the ones that you only race once for some reason it was out the way, but you always remember it. It's like I love that track. I've got a track like that.
That second round of the AMCA Championship, dude. Like
you didn't talk about it before.
Sickest track, man. Like I still wasn't strong then, and even though like I was struggling like physically to ride good, like man, I just loved it. Like, and then I'll never ever go to that track again. That's
what track was that?
I think it's called Boriston. Is it Boriston?
This is the one near Hawkstone you talked about.
Bushton or Boriston?
The one near Hawkstone?
No.
That's different.
This one was insane, dude. Like
in Gloucester. Gloucester way.
I don't even know where it was, man. Yeah, Gloucester. Oh, I don't know what it was. How bad is it? It was a couple of weeks ago.
Too much racing.
But I think that's the one on the hill, isn't it? Going on the M5, you can see it you can kind of roughly know where it is.
Man, I'm trying to think where
it's close to North Nibley, I think.
But same thing, dude. Like this, what a sick track. Like just fun, Like, but again, 6 or 7 ruts in every turn.
Yeah.
Like jumps, you had to be technical, big berms, like going down a hill into the woods, and then step ups coming out the woods, and then camber turns to turn on. And I was like, man, and like scrub jumps, like such a sick, like you jump into a hole and then like a big scrub jump, like stuff that you don't really get to see all the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this is just so sick. But again, like I raced that, I've been here for 16 years. First time. I'll race that one time, and I'll never ever, I don't think I'll ever race that track again.
Like the one track for me like that is, I raced it when I was a kid. I've been out there filming, but I've never ridden it again, but it was Roxton.
Oh yeah, that's a good track as well.
I rode there on an 85 and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
I remember I got crap starts all day. Like it was an uphill start. I don't know what I did. I kept scooting up, but then so every single race I was just coming through the pack and like properly racing it. And it just stuck in my mind. Like when I thought we'll talk about this today, I was like, I'm going to talk about Roxton because it's different. It went round the other way to what it does now.
Yeah.
But like back then, I was on 85 and absolutely loved it, and it was my favourite track for ages. And I only raced there once. I only went there once.
That track is a little bit like you say, like it's I raced there this last weekend
at Roxton.
And but it's funny. It's only half an hour from my house, and the first time I raced there was the British Masters this year. Mental, like crazy, half an hour from my house. It's a sick track and it's a fun track. But again, when you get to British Championship level, like, dude, like if you look at that race I did from, say, okay, maybe the front two guys were quite quick, but say from 3rd to 20th, 1 second.
Difference, yeah.
1 second between 20 guys. It's one of those, like when you get to that level.
There's not really separation.
Fun track to ride. Again, lots of berms. Everyone runs the berms. Everyone scrubs the jumps. But yeah, awesome track to ride, you know. But it's what you enjoy, like. You know, like if you're a hobby rider, you enjoy hitting jumps, getting a good feel around the track. If you put a lot of time into riding and you train hard and you want your fitness to come in and your technique to come in, then you want a track that's a bit rougher, you know. That's what's cool about motocross is the track for like there's no this is the sickest track. Like everyone's got.
I know we've been to Mildenhall like on the same day, and you're going, oh, it's so good out there, and I'm going,
yeah,
is it? Like I'm hating life at the moment. Like, you remember, I think it was the end of last year we went, and it was deep, it rained, and it was really deep. And I was wearing all white gear, and I'm thinking, oh, God, I swear I've done that. And he was like, oh, sick, in it. And I was like, yeah.
I said to him, this is so sick. I'm riding Prince's bike. I'm going to do 3 30-minute motos. It's deep as I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm not riding my bike today. Prince's bike's going to get it today.
So you said about tracks that you never want to go back to. Is there any tracks that stick out in your mind?
There is some tracks, and like before I say it, like, you know, I know motocross, the organisers put a lot into the tracks, and we appreciate the work that they put in, but everyone's got their opinion. And I used to struggle a lot on the west of the country tracks. Like when I was racing full time, when we used to go west country, so Torrington, Landrake, Little Silver, like any time we went to that part of the country, like I struggled just the pure fact of how fast those tracks are. Like I don't think there's a lot to those tracks. They're like very fast tracks with like few jumps. And coming from South Africa, those, like every time I used to go to tracks like that, I used to struggle a lot. So, like no track in particular, but it seemed like when I went to that part of the country, like I struggled. Like I don't really enjoy, like that's also with the AMCA, like, you know, some of the tracks have been awesome, but there's been 2 rounds where it's just been like, if you're willing to, you know, go on a 450 in 5th gear and put on the line, you're going to do good, you know. And those are the sort of tracks I don't enjoy, so. But I mean, you like you say, you don't enjoy it, and you know it's not a. But you think about there's a lot worse things you can be doing in life.
I was trying to rack my brain, trying to think of a track that I really hated.
Yeah.
And there's tracks that obviously don't rank in your favourites, but most tracks have a bit where you're like, oh, that was like fun, or that was cool.
And I'll tell you where else I used to struggle a lot, man, and is Fat Cats. Just because of the technique I have isn't great for sand, and the way that's man-made with the artificial bumps. I could never ever manual from bump to bump. Like I was never really good at dropping the backhand into the bumps, and it was like the hardest days ever. Like even this last weekend, I managed to win the AMC there, and I'm just like, you know. But it's a good track, you know. People like love that place.
I think a lot of the problem is
opinions, isn't it?
It's a practice track, and I think it makes it tricky. Then, if you were going there every day, you'd probably get the hang of it.
Yeah,
not the hang of it, but you know what I mean. You kind of get the gist of it. And I think that's you know, when you get a practice track that's used a lot. Like if I go up Fat Cats the other week, went with Joel, you get the same people up there like every week. You get handy at it, and that's another problem a little bit with a lot of UK riders. They go to the same track. Then you take them to like a local track which got a bit of grass, and then they're like, God, never seen grass before. And they struggle actually to ride them conditions. Where, you know, Fat Cats, you know, I'm not saying most of them, but some of the guys in your race there, or in the MX2, or the vets or whatever, they probably go there
quite a bit.
Twice, 3 times a month. They get to know the track. They kind of know the setup, and you know, it does make a big difference when you go to a practice track. There was actually a guy that
qualified 3rd at the MCA, and like no one even knew. Like,
all right,
I was like, who is he? Like, I was like, has he even done the racing before? Like, honestly, but like,
and he just says Doncaster next to his name.
Local club, Fat Cats MS.
Yeah. You do get these
but it's everything, like if we had a race at Mildenhall or Ellsworth in the day,
Well, we had it. You've been there. I think down at Buttercup in Chatteris. Yep. That was the track, our local track. We used to race there. Me and my brother, we didn't. I don't know. Can't even. It's countless races there. Like so many races there.
Yeah.
We used to do. Our club was there, and then any club that went there, we used to do day trips there to do those ones. And then we just loved that track because our friend owned it, and we had a good crack down there. And like anyone that came there, we were like. I remember my older brother, he raced Nathan Watson there and beat him, Ryan Houghton there and beat him. Guys like that came and you're like, what brothers? No one. And these guys are like pro riders now, but like any other track in the world, no chance, mate. But come to our track and we go.
Funny what a mental state can do, eh? When you put yourself in the mental state before you get there.
Yeah, it was like you line up. It's my track.
Yeah,
I've got to own.
That's half the battle with a lot of riders. They go to there. If your mindset is like that, and I think that makes a difference between top riders and middle riders. I shouldn't say middle, but do you know what I mean? You get a top rider who goes to any track, and if his brain is in that mode, it's like that. Yeah. People like Geyser or Carrell, I know they're top of the game, but I don't think wherever Geyser goes, he's like, I've got a handle today.
Yeah,
even if he doesn't even know the track.
You hear Carrell say, "Oh, yeah, it's not my favourite track," but then he goes out there and still does business. So it's
you just got to dig on those days a little bit. I think you got to go a little bit harder than what you normally would. Like when you're struggling, you got to go like a little bit, like 15% way more than you're uncomfortable to ride to get like the same sort of result,
Yeah.
Well, is there tracks that like on the GP circuit that you would say, or used to be on the GP circuit, that maybe it's not your favourite track, but you would say it's the best track in the world? Like people always used to say about the Moor. Like I can't really remember ever watching races there.
It was good.
The Moor was hard, man.
It was just different though.
I raced there.
Like one point you said about Russia being dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was lots of crashes. But like I'm a believer in the track's as dangerous as you make it. Do you know what I mean? Like Russia was a different style track. The way the conditions were, whatever. I think what people are missing is the track. Maybe people might argue with me and go, "Yeah, I don't know what I'm on about," but like some of the crashes I've seen was the guys also pushing to a level, and this is what I'm on about in France. Like what I saw is, now I've got to watch MX1. I'm right there watching it. And the first 3 laps of the second race, I videoed a couple of corners of February, Geyser, and it might have been Tonus going for it. And for 3 laps, when they got out the gate, they were like on a qualifying lap and some.
It's scary, man.
And some. Guys that come out this corner, he'd give it such a handful. And he was in 3rd gear, like there was no excess of rev, and she was like, whoa, like perfect power. And his feet were not off, but like he was kind of a little bit, and he just kept it on. And I thought, God, and it took about 4 laps for them to calm down. Like where they're like, right, okay, we've got the position now. But then first 3 laps, they were going for it. February guys and that. I was like, my God, they're properly on the gas big time.
It's when you look at stuff that you feel like the level's been raised.
But it's the whole level of the fitness of the riders, the bikes, and it's not necessarily the track is dangerous. It's actually what the guys are getting up to, their speed they're going, the way they're pushing, the way they're trusting the front tyres. Everyone is on that little limit. And
when you look at Ben Watson's crash on the weekend, like you think, how the hell did that happen?
There's a lot of crashes like
you said, he's got that and lost it in a big way because he's going that fast down that kind of. It's kind of like a gravity thing, isn't it? Into the tabletop, and he's just boom.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily the track. That's Ben actually just having 100% commitment in that tyre, and it's actually just not took it, or it's unloaded the front end. He's lost a bit of grip. She's gone, and however they rotate the track or they make the track safer, or the only way that would happen there is if they put a chicane in to slow it down. And the level they're going, and in France. When I watched that MX1 race, I was right there watching it, and I was like, bloody hell, they're actually going so hard for 3 laps, and then they kind of settled into their rhythm. But for 3 laps, it was like do or die.
I noticed it because I haven't been to GP for like maybe like 5 or 6 years. But when I don't know who it was, I think it might have been Bobby. I think one of them was Tommy, and actually Jake Nichols might have been another one. I was watching at Blacksall. Must have been when I was riding for you in 17.
Yeah.
And dude, like it blew my mind. And there was like 3 guys that were completely different to the rest of the pack. Going through a corner, how hard they hit the gas on a 450. And like how much clutch did they use.
They hit it all.
Dude, like just like
That's like Bobby last year at Blacksall, wasn't it?
demand, like dude, like they hit the gas so hard and they used the clutch so hard to go. It's like I've never ever
a
seen that
bongo
style of
enough,
riding before. Like how hard that they literally just like cannon themselves out the turns. Like when you get like a sharp rut with like a rut coming out, you know, like used to just roar and then come out. Dude, they are just so aggressive on the gas and the clutch to like straight away get going. Like I was like, Jesus. Like, and there was 3 of them doing it. I remember saying, and then you kind of get to like how like the, you know, like the top British Championship riders ride completely different to that aggression of but I guess when you're at the GP level, at that level, it's those little bits that they're learning.
Well, the bike Bobby had last year, the Suzuki last year, Andy at Lombard's got that.
Yeah.
And he gave it to an AMCA rider to ride at Sproxton, who, I don't know the rider, but he rode the bike and he couldn't even handle the power of the bike. Because he said, like, it comes in with that much of a hit. I think he did 1 or 2 laps and couldn't even handle it.
See, I found that bike easy to ride because it had so much power.
Yeah,
because you rode it.
Because it had so much power, you could like, you know, on a 450, sometimes it's like goes, and then it's passed, and then you got to turn.
Yeah.
Where that bike, because it had so much, it's right there, so you change the gear, and then you got time to like play with the gas because you're not having to like wide open it.
Yeah.
And then you turn. So like the
But that's like you. That's
like
your different level of rider.
But that's the bit we're kind of talking about is like you've ridden fast bikes, you know how to adjust to riding a fast bike. But whoever the rider was who rode the bike, he couldn't ride it, you know. And even Andy at Lombardy, I mean, he hate me for saying this, but you know, he tries to ride that bike and it's actually too much.
Yeah. On a 450, if you stop and then go again with a lot of power,
it's like a light switch. It's on or off.
You've got to like roll and then
you know, I can't even, you know, like if I rode that bike, you just, you know, not necessarily just that Suzuki. I mean, any race bike you ride, or, you know, you have Hurlin's bike, or, you can ride it if the track's wide open. But if you go to a tight little track, for sure, a standard bike is much easier for the average person to ride, unless you've got a top rider to ride it.
I just feel like on those boys, they must have like such good clutches in those bikes to handle that like kind of big, like drop on the clutch. If like most corners that they're doing that, how aggressive they are on the gas, you know.
Well, what I've found with Bobby last year, from my experience, is normally when you get a rider like that as well, they don't actually use the clutch. They pull it in, they put it out. Where maybe I would drag the clutch to kind of slow the bike down, or like you wouldn't really let out. They just dump the clutch and then it's full
beans. Yeah, that's what it looked like. Literally, just like dump it and as hard as you can go.
Yeah,
but like in control, you know, not like wheeling, just like. But just the first time I've ever seen it in my whole entire life was at Blacksall, and I was like, fair play. And I can imagine if you go to a GP, that's how the top 20 guys are riding, you know.
Well, guys are in. I can only go from him because you hear him because he was at the front quite a bit, and February was trying to get away from him, and guys come down the hill at the back of the pit boxes, got into the rut, and he gave it such a handful there.
Off camber there.
And he was like, it jumped him out the seat, and he just give it some more up to the next bit, and it was from here.
It's not a big straight, is it, that?
No, but he'd give it everything, and then the corner, he just railed that. He was trying to make the pass on February, who also was going quite, because he dropped down to the outside line, and he pretty much come together for the next corner. February kept the line, but I was like, God, guys are really just trying to pass in like a 5 metre stretch and give it everything, and still made the corner, you know, and then followed him all the way around the start straight. And I mean, I was like, God. You know, it literally looked like do or die.
But do you see, like, how, like, for example, like, you're talking about St. John, like, how aggressive those guys are riding now.
Yeah.
Like, you think back to Sebastian and Christophe Pourcel. Like, those guys used to go so fast with momentum.
Yeah.
That it didn't even look like they were trying.
Yeah, that's
like,
it,
Like, what do you think on those, like, that time to this time? Do you think there's much in, like, a lap time difference?
I don't think there's much in it. I think the guys, their level of fitness, I'm not saying that, you know... Porcel and Tortelli and them, like Tortelli had a very similar style where he was very aggressive, you know, when he come against Everts. But I think the level of them guys are going at the minute, especially Geyser, he must be feeling, every time he wakes up in the morning, he must feel like really strong. Because the way he rides that bike, it's with
his
strength.
body must be in like prime condition, because the kind of crashes he has he has. Even this year, and he bounces up from your body's got to be in like prime condition. Because if I took a crash like that, I'm out for like a month.
Well, Montivar was muddy, and obviously I was watching there Montivar, and it was muddy. Sean was in the race.
Is that the one when he crashed on the start?
Yeah, but he crashed like 5 times in one race.
Fair play, got back up every time. And
well, the bit was interesting was there was a couple of tabletops you'd land, and then you'd have like a tricky section. He went through there, my friend was there, JP was there, we're watching, and he'd land there, just boom, on it, through the mud, like as if it wasn't even muddy. You know, and he did bite the dirt, he lost the front end, went down a few times, but you stand there and like if you were working his pit, you'd kind of call him in, go like, look dude, you've lost the plot here, like just shut off a little bit. It was like he didn't register. He had to make up the time because he got a bad start, he went down to start. He'd had to make the time up, but he was coming through that quickly. It's like he didn't even register. It was like slippy.
Just wide open, eh?
Yeah, he's a different... I loved him, guys, because I think he brings such a different kind of aspect to the MXGP. I think that no one rides like him.
Very humble person as well, like, by the looks
of it.
Yeah,
he looks like he's appreciative of everything. But just you watch him, you think, no one else rides like that. No. Even watch Hurlin's on it.
He kind of rides like a 450, like a 250.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, one of the coolest things while we're talking about GPs is to see, and like a lot of riders can kind of like relate to it, where you have up and down times in your career. Tonus coming back from those 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, that's
dude.
Cool. Yeah, because like we've talked about before, like Tonus when he was in the British Championship, it was so good to watch, and then he kind of disappeared.
I kind of honestly believe, like this is my own opinion, I reckon he had like Epstein-Barr bad. You know,
but he did though, didn't he?
When he was riding for pro circuit and stuff, you could see like he'd put in like polling qualifying and he couldn't see motos through, and then he started to get better, didn't he, when he went to the outdoors?
He went over to do that.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Dude, but you could see like, you could almost like, you could see it coming in, you know, like just tight, and then like in a way, like obviously you're never lucky with injuries, but where he's had so many injuries, that has had time to like get healthy again. But then, dude, like to keep at it and get back to that level after 3 or 4 years.
You can see it. Like, you've seen pictures of him on the podium this weekend. How happy the dude looks. Like,
yeah, but did you see the race of him in February? They put a clip up of him. Not February. Him and guys are racing, and they put a video up. They showed the battle. And you know where Ben Watson crashed? Yeah. Like he's on the outside there of Geyser, and he goes in the tabletop, and it looks like he's 50% really going to crash it. He has like he's on the outside off the line, and for sure he's at the tabletop. And I'm not saying he isn't, but like it looked a little bit kind of sketchy. Do you know what I mean?
Like riding beyond.
A little bit. I could be wrong, but I saw the video and I was like, "Ooh, calm down." Do you know what I mean?
Like motocross, funny like timing in motocross, don't you think? Like I believe if when Tonus was riding, how he was riding with Dixon, went to America, like.
Yep, good.
You know, and good. And then he had like some bad time, and like now, if Tonus went back to America, he'd be top 3, I believe, in that MX1 class in America. But it's just timing of everything, how everything works. You know, like you can go there, and everything goes golden for you. You have a few good years in America, but I think just a couple of things goes wrong, and it takes a long time to like. Everything needs to be so right, doesn't it? When things are going right,
the stars need to align.
You can like literally spend 3 months trying to get it back, or you can spend 3 years to get it back.
Yeah. You know, or sometimes it never comes back.
No, I think if you I suppose you could say that, but I think if you stay at it long enough, it does. Like, I think it's like Chad Reed this year, for example. Like I had him completely written off, and then you can see someone that doesn't give up, and that if you're willing to go back every single week and do your work and do practice, do your eating, it will you don't forget how to ride a bike. You know, if it's in there, you know, it always will. You know, like it's weird, like even like if you think of somebody like Gordon Crockart, like on his day, that guy was unreal.
Yeah.
And then when he kind of went off the boil a little bit, like he'd still have races where like the old Gordy would come back, like when he raced that 2-stroke at Canada Hearts that day.
Yeah.
And just gone, dude. Like, but there was good riders in the 2-stroke class as well that day. And just like, you know, you mustn't, like, that's why like I hate it when people bash riders that, you know, like even if it's like right now, they're not very good, but people forget the past of how good the guy was.
It's always that thing, he's as good as your last race, isn't it? That's what people remember, is the last race. But like Tonus, like you watch him, he's like poetry on a motocross bike, and his style's like that, and to see him come back to where he is now, he's always had it. He's not lost it. But
like, I think you see small stuff, you take small stuff from it. So that race that I don't know where it was, Falcon Sword, he was like almost a lap down. And like he rode his arse off, or like almost got lapped, didn't get lapped. And like it's small building blocks like that, and he would have thought, okay, you know, like they came to lap me, they didn't lap me, so my speed but it's easy to pull out of a race like that.
Yeah.
You know, where I think like in the last couple of years where he's been struggling, he might have pulled out of that race where you start seeing him through and you just start building like little wins all the time. And that's what gets you back to the confidence that you had before. And then as soon as that penny drops, I think, you know.
But what you're on about Tonus, I'm just thinking what you're saying about Tonus. You look how many riders have like Tonus. I've had this dream to go America, race Supercross, and then this kind of done them no favours at all.
Yeah.
When you look at it, when you look at the statistics, you know, you look at like Albertine, won an outdoor national, but Supercross struggled. Tonus struggled. Tortelli. A lot of riders we've lost to go to America, which obviously they've made money, they've had the right opportunities. You know, like Musquin, you look at people like that, but a lot of them go there with the Supercross dream because you need to be good at Supercross. I think if you went to Mitch Payton, look, I just want to do outdoors, he'd probably go, oh, you got to do Supercross. I'm not so good.
You look at the Covington thing this year, like, I think there's more to that story, but like...
That blows my mind, eh?
That is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Like, how can you go top 3... Like, you know, like I think definitely the MX1 class in Europe is a lot more stacked, but they not take like those top 20 guys in MX2 are unreal as well. But like to go top 3 and win GPs and then to be struggling that bad in America.
I think there's more to that story, like
really?
Epstein Barr or something.
Yeah, but you're forgetting he was a bit odd in Europe as well.
Very up and down.
He was.
He needs confidence, that kid. I think. Like when he's like some guys just ride on pure confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's like, and he's obviously during the Supercross season he would have taken a knock on his confidence just where he hasn't done it for a long time, and maybe that's.
I think we did an interview actually in France with David Luongo, so he's like boss at MXGP, and he said something, and I thought, I think you're right there. He was like, I think we're going to see like this stem of riders wanting to go to America kind of fizzle out, because I think we kind of what they can do here in the GPs now, looking at like Hurlins and things like that. Like I always expected Hurlins to go to America, like follow Ken Roxon.
No, it doesn't seem to be going that route. Eh?
I think there'll be less and less riders going for the dream. You'll always get the ones
I hope Prado goes to America, dude.
I don't know if they will.
I think he will be the next star though of Europe.
Europe, do you think? No, I think
he does have that kind of style though. I think bit American, good style.
Even the way he talks, you know, like he's Spanish dude that talks like the American. I reckon he's a little bit like Ken Roxon. I think they're quite happy in that environment, like being from Spain and Germany. Like it's a little bit different to like the whole Holland scene.
But it depends. Like if he goes and does that and maybe struggles with the Supercross, you know, like Hurlins went a few years ago. Like I think he really wanted to go there. I think there was a video of him at the test track and he had a massive crash in the whoop section.
Yeah,
and I think. Then, you know, they've got to sit home and go, right. And I think Everts had this conversation with himself many years ago. They went, right, okay, when Tortelli was there as well. So Tortelli was like, I'm going off to America. Everts probably sat there and went, hold on a second, I'm getting, let's say just a figure, £10 if I race it here. I can get £10 if I ride in America. But if I don't do very well, I'm going to be having £5. Just an example of money. But if I stay in Europe, I win 10 world titles, I'm going £1 million. But if I do well in America, which is going to be tricky, you know, and I maybe top 5 Supercross, win the outdoors, I'm going to get 500,000.
Yeah.
I'll stay in Europe.
Yeah. I think that's the kind of conversation a lot of like, let's say Hurlins, Corelli have had with themselves.
And it makes more sense to earn the money here than to say, right, go to America and go, right, okay, I'm going to have a crack at this, but I've got to get through Supercross. And the problem is with Supercross, you know, is if you go there, you've got to learn it, you've got to try and catch up, and then you slip off and you hurt yourself, right, you're going to miss 4 rounds.
There's no such thing as having a crack at Supercross, I think, is there?
There isn't.
There's not. You've either got to do it or you can't, because the consequences are that high and there's no rest up.
That's why even like training for Supercross, when those guys are doing their motos, like it's not.
It is gnarly.
There's such a small edge.
You see how often they ride and how hard they ride.
Yeah.
It is insane that they can make it through a season, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like at that level, like if they make a mistake,
and you have to be doing it as well, like.
Well, if you look at it, say Geyser. Geyser's a little bit different, but we'll use him as an example. Geyser goes, right, I'm going to go race Supercross America. They're going to go, hold on a second, it's better we probably keep Justin Brayton, who might get a win, and he's going to be top 5 every weekend, roughly, just an example. Where Geyser, oh, I'm not too sure about this.
Yeah.
Honda are going to be like, are you sure about this? The only way they'll do that is if he wins the World Championship.
Yeah,
they'll go, look, we'll give him a year at it. If it's no good, we'll put him back to World Championship. And that's the way I think at the minute to go into America. You'd nearly have to go there, do the US Open, win all 3 races, and someone will go, right, let's give him the money. It's true though. You know what I mean?
Monster Cup.
Yeah, Monster Cup. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You go back to 2003 there, boy.
But that's what I mean. Like, I think, even they're not silly. They've signed, like KTM have signed Musquin. They got Cooper Webb. So the door's closed there for anybody top to go there. And Prado might not be as good as, I'll get slated for this, maybe not as good as Shane McElrath on the MX2 bike.
Yeah, well, in the Supercross.
Yeah, in the Supercross. So, it's kind of hard.
It's like a big platform. Those boys have built up a big platform.
Exactly.
Years of it's just like, like you say, we were saying today about how Hurlings would have rode that track today. It's about getting your eye in for it, where those boys have spent 10 years already getting their eye in for how to hit whoops, the angles to scrub jumps, like how to judge rhythms properly, like the first time you do them. Yeah. It's a big catch-up game, I think. You got to spend... If you're a good rider, I think you can catch on quite quick. But again, like you say, dude, it's just one miscue at Supercross and it's... Yeah.
Well, when I was in America a couple of weeks ago, I did an interview with Kevin Roxon, and it's interesting because he's definitely more American than he is German now, I think. He's like, he'd admit himself, he's like, if I went back to Germany, I wouldn't know what to do or how to live properly. Like, I just know how it works here. And I think you'd need that attitude if you went, if you moved from here to there.
People
you'd
are
have
different.
to
Like, people
full
are
on become...
People are different and people want different things in life. That's why I think Prado is a lot like how Ken is.
Yeah.
Like, that whole lifestyle would suit him.
But he probably needs to go next year. If he wins the World Championship, I'm a believer in it. Like, if Geiser wins this year and he's got any dream of America...
He needs to go now,
As soon as he's won the World Championship, I'm off to America.
Well, that's what Ken and Marvin did, eh? They were
exactly,
both young going there. Then their first 2 or 3 years weren't amazing. They were still top 3. And
you look the way Ken did it. He probably did it the best way you could, because he went and kind of proved himself at Supercross in a season that he won his World Championship. He went and did, I think it was like 3 or 4 West Coast rounds. Yeah. It proved to everyone in America, this kid could come and win this. And then he came back and did a full GP season and won his World Championship, and then it's like, right, done.
There's the job.
Over we go.
He can write the contract then.
Yeah.
He can go to KTM, look, I won this. If I win, he probably said to him before he even started, if I win the World Championship, I need a contract and this is how much it is. And Honda would probably do that, I would say, with maybe not Geiser now, because I think maybe the window's missed there. That's my opinion. But with Prado, he's probably said, look, if I win the World Championship, give me a deal in America. And he'll get the money, but then he's got a year of where he's kind of make it.
But then when you're that young,
is it going to be £5 or is it going to be £10, like you said?
Exactly. Do you know what I mean?
But when he's that young, you can afford to skip a year, and then come back to Europe.
Yeah, because Prado's 18, is he?
18 years old, you swear, dude. You got a long time ahead of you.
But he could probably write that in the contract as well.
He's got the option to come back to Europe.
I'll go do some Supercrosses if not any good, he'll be good. But like if I can do it, then we'll go. I think America's just tricky. If you've got, say, Tomac wanting a deal, and you've got guys that wanting a deal, or even Hurlings, they're going to go with Tomac.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Just for Supercross, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's where their market is. The Americans is a massive, that's that's the main focus for them. Like even the riders said, Supercross is their main thing.
Yeah, the outdoors is kind of right.
That's where they make their money, and that's where the manufacturers put all their eggs. So,
but like you say, it takes a year or so. Like look at Dylan Ferrandis, right? He went there, I think, for the 2017 season, and it's taken him. He's kind of been quiet. For 2 years, and he comes out and wins it this year. Like his stock surely got to be higher there. Yeah. Now to it when he was here and he's just come second to Jeffrey. Yeah. Right. So he's paid off for him so far. For him.
I think riders of that caliber will get it sorted. It's just a matter of time, isn't it? Yeah.
But they have a French championship they do all year.
French.
Musquin was always going to be good. When he went there, he knew that.
That helps those guys a lot having that French championship, and also the French tracks. That the kids grow up racing those national French tracks. Yeah. With the jumps and stuff, it brings your technique on a lot even before you get to that level, I think. And the way that the French bring their riders through at the federation goes a long way. That's why there's been a lot of good French kids.
You even look into that EMX classes now; they're like pretty much all French, aren't they? Like at Saint Jean, anyway, there was like, oh Jesus. got all these French kids coming through. But I think we're screwed at the Nations for a while.
But even that was strange. At St John, there was less riders entered for EMX 125 than any other.
Really?
Yeah, I was
Did
expecting.
you say that there's still 74 or something, wasn't there?
There was
like
30, I think just 30, like 6, I think
Really?
30 in each class.
Yeah.
Where you got a Volkswagen, there was 100.
There was 100, yeah.
And everywhere around, I think it's been close to 100.
Wow.
But you think is that because kids are going there, getting knocked back or injured or not qualifying, thinking, yeah, we're not going to travel all that way for that? Or
But that was one of the closer ones.
Yeah.
Do you know, if you,
yeah,
know,
but
if you look at
you've not qualified for rounds 1 and 2, are you going to bother?
it's possible, yeah, it's possible.
Well, I think that'll wrap us up there. We went a little bit off on a tangent there, but you know, you never know where this is going to end up. Thanks to you boys for coming in.
Thank you.
You want to plug anything? What you got coming up? Races?
Me? No, actually our race this weekend has been cancelled, so we're meant to have this
British Summertime.
6th round of the MCA, so that's been cancelled. So actually I was actually looking forward to getting this weekend out the way, obviously, because I said I've raced 13 weekends, and then we've got 2 weekends off, and then Hawkstone Park MCA Championship after that.
So what are you going to do this weekend? Said family man time.
Build a KX125 is what I'm going to do.
KX125. So watch out for that. We'll have something about
That's
that
what I'll be
shortly.
doing.
And I've got to find a schoolboy race for my little one to ride, and be
This
going
weekend?
ballistic this weekend, yeah.
Good luck.
I might join you on that.
I think the only place you might find is like I was talking to someone there. It's like, oh yeah, we're going up to Duns. Apparently it's not rained up there, so you might have to go up there for a race. Yes, that wraps us up. If you want to grab any merch, we've got some. Link down below, 25% off if you use the code ThePlug25. But yeah, we'll try and not be so long to the next episode. And that wraps up for today. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.